Hello folks, so we've got the final set in the batch of 4 from the customer. We did the York 863, which had had the kiss of death with its illegal modification. This is going to be the same because it's come from the same source, he said. We did the Kerno KR200, which is not one of the best sets in the world, and then we did the Amstrad 901 genuine set for him, which is a fantastic radio. So we know there's a lot of work. I start this on Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. I need to be off at 9 o'clock for the first church service today as an organist. So I thought I'd get on with this because I know how long this is going to take to do the demodification. Not sure I like silver screws when there should be black ones. I've also done a couple of I've done a printout for my sheet. I've also done this of the front panel because this is missing, turns it the right way, it's top front panel, so I wouldn't know what the switches are. I used to submit, this is one of my photos which is on RigPix. I used to send in photos, but I don't think we got any acknowledgements, so I don't think I carried on bothering. So, but that's definitely one of my photos of our sample set. I'm a bit of a believer this is the best set ever made for the UK. I like these more than the York 863. One of the things they've got is this switch here, not that switch there, speaker internal or external. So if you've got an external speaker plugged in, it doesn't mute the internal ones, you flick that switch, and to me that's really well thought out. We're going to use his power lead provided, and this is the original with the 20mm fuse holder. So it's got the fuse holder. I don't mind it being short, but I'll put some sleeving on there and do that better. And then at least he's got a power lead there. We'll try and improve that for him. So we'll plug it into the test gear. Oh no, is there any point in plugging into the test gear? Because we know it's not going to work, don't we? Because it's got the illegal modification. It's got the biggest speaker on this type of set. So we will plug it in. Now the last one, when we did his York 863, nothing had been altered. So its performance was still centred on the UK channels, so it must have been abysmal performance if it had ever worked on the CPET set of channels, which is presented to us. It was working on one channel on its illegally added CPT and one channel on its 2781 thing. They'd messed about and removed the PA switch, and I've still got that to restore. I just know much. I need to just get on with some sets and kind of do those switch restorations because they're very time consuming. I've had to borrow a York 863 which hasn't had the switch messed with, which I've done. So, in fact 3 switches are messed with, which is why I had to borrow one. Yeah, you can work it out from a circuit diagram. I don't have a York 863 circuit diagram. We work from the Rotel 240 service manual, and there are some switch differences, so it's much easier to just borrow a unmolested York 863 and copy the wiring. I'll make sure I photograph it as well. I know all these stupid modifications happened in the early 80s. Right, I don't know what the date is, really not bothered. Your Binatone 5-star. Oh, 007 951. Not 007. So, with our standard replacement mic, and with PA speaker, and the test equipment speaker. We're all connected up. Put the power supply on, 13.8 volts. Here we go. And you know what? We actually got to connect it to power. One of those, and for some reason it's going on and off. No idea, is channel 9 on? So let's see where this switcher should be. Channel 9 was it on? So channel 20 selected. Tone to high. CB to CB. Power to high. External speaker. Delta tune to center. RF gain to full. Mic gain to full. Display is being disconnected. Noisy volume control. So let's press transmit, and I'll put picture in picture on. And for some reason I don't have any cameras on the second camera channel, so I can't show you any of the displays. So I'll either fix the radio or find out why the cameras are off. I'll pause the video. Okay, back into record. For some reason the switcher was jumping around now. It's off again. Oh well. You have to take my word for it. So there's no transmit on my instruments here. So let's put the walkie-talkie on. It's on channel 20. We're on channel 20 on the radio. Testing 1, 2. No. What happens when I flick the PA switch? Well, the PA switch is broken. So that's going to be interesting. We've got to get another PA switch, haven't we, from somewhere. Let's hope we've got some foreign scrap set. Okay, well, there's nothing I can do. So the set isn't working. Let's just put that on the signal generator and see whether it's picking up on receive. 2779 125. Isn't is 2768 125? Is that channel 9? Let's put it on channel 9. See if the set works. No, the set doesn't work on channel 9 either. Well, all we can do is make a start and remove some of this stupid junk that of course is stopping it from working. I don't know what they've disconnected the dimmer for. I wonder what they've turned that into. We're going to have to take these knobs off. I I know it's not my radio, but I'm tempted to. I think we'll run those through my dishwasher. I won't do it with his front. He'll need a replacement top. Oh, which luckily are available these days. I was hoping not to have to go and get a piece of string. No, I managed that one. See if I can. I do have very strong fingers, as you can well imagine. However, I'd rather not snap my fingers off half an hour before going to play the organ at church. So we've got a bit of the thing missing there. A lug. There's no lugs on the bottom. Will there be any lugs on the top? It just amazes me that somebody goes out and buys a £100 radio in 1981 and then this happens to it. I think we have to put that capacitor somewhere else. So what's that they've linked out? Oh, is it one of these 50 kilohertz deviation things that you transmit on 7 channels at once? I reckon it is. Why do people want to do that? Unless their mate's on a Fidelity 1000. So we've got some of the lugs at the bottom here, which is the top. So as far as the switches go, this one looks like only the fourth one along's been messed with, which is the PA switch. So unlike the York 863 where 3 switches were messed with, so hopefully we can unscrew that. Now that's fallen apart. Where's all these wires go? I'll just cut them off. Not any part of the original. It's possible that we can fix this switch if the contacts are still there. So it's come apart. If the contacts are inside, then we can fix it. So bend those lugs back. Huh. We've got one contact, we haven't got the other. Right. Well, let's have a make sure there's nothing inside. We've got bits of lug. Nope. So we can't rebuild the switch. It's a double pole changeover with the chrome toggle. Now, I think we've got a European and therefore illegal at the time set. Well, still illegal, but what I mean by that is it's pre-CE approval, so it can't be used here. I think we've got one somewhere. Anything I can nick one of those switches off. See, that's had its switch nicked. Here's an illegal radio. It's a Colt 210, which is the AM version of the Maxcom 4E, or the Colt 295. So we should be able to have the switch off that. The front can go on the fire. Chuck! Slightly longer toggle length, but that's how it is, isn't it, folks? Unfortunately, it's got glue in the screw. Glue in the screw. That rhymes, doesn't it? Now I've got enough started to get it out. Good, that's why we have scrap chassis. So it's the same spacing, the slightly longer toggle. But it's a different make of switch, so it's not like I could take the innards of one, even if I wanted to, and put it in the other. So I'll desolder this, and then we'll have to get our Binatone 5-star scrap chassis, and hopefully we can wire that up and we can make a proper start on the radio. Right, I've done the synthesizer. I'm sorry it's a bit further across the bench, because I've got this switch dangling underneath. This is the PA switch. The wiring isn't kind of intact there, but we've got enough to get receive, even if we haven't got transmit. So, is it going into transmit? At least the synthesizers that have been able to recover that, and it's receiving That's 1 microvolt on channel 20. Now, is it transmitting is the question. So I'll get my walkie-talkie wherever I've put it once again. Where has it gone? Absolutely no idea. It is transmitting. And the answer is no. Well, of course, the VCO may be well out. I've also got a short, what looks to be a short on the display, because I've got funny digits. So I'll just have a look to see whether there is an obvious short. Yeah, there is. Okay, so that's good. Right, get the meter. Mr. Chippie's yellow clock clip lead onto the strapping wire, that to negative, select channel 40, see if we've got 4 volts. Channel 43, 40. And that resistor, we've got 4 point something on receive, which is a good start, and we've got nothing on transmit. There may be parts missing. Never know what they get up to. I hope that trimmer capacitor is not full of wax. Yes, the trimmer capacitor is full of wax. Well, I'll tell you what. We've now got a lock voltage. Gonna have to change that trimmer capacitor. I can't get it to go where I want it. And it's been filled with wax, which is ridiculous. But what it means is we still haven't got transmit. Okay. So theoretically, that's a lock voltage. It's not perfect, but it is a lock voltage. Let's get that walkie-talkie back and see whether it's doing anything. Let's go back to channel 40, which is where we're aligning this on. Yes. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. So it's the VCO is actually transmitting, so that's good news. I'll just see whether we can get that. I'm just trying not to incur expenses unnecessarily. Just see whether we can get that closer. If that stays put, that's absolutely ideal. So good. Now we'll check it on channel 1, and we want to make sure it's like 1.7, 2.2, somewhere like that. So 2.24 is fine on receive, and on transmit it's 2.2. So if that stays put, we don't need to change it, because they're not exactly free. fancy filling a trimmer capacitor with wax. Right, we'll go to channel 20. And I don't think we're going to get transmit. It's possible high-low power's got a damaged switch, that's always possible. So just count the switches. Channel 9, PA, high-low power is that one. So if we switch it to high, see whether we've got transmit now. Yes, we have. So it's quite possible the preset's probably at minimum, look, it's there. So we have got transmit. So I'm going to go and do my church thing, just for the sake of, it's doing 4.1 watts. Now it's actually, so, you know, the reason this wasn't working is again, it's the modification, because the basic set is, once we've got rid of the modification. And let's just see what frequency I've got. 27, no, absolutely miles out, 78946. Just see if I can get it anywhere near, or whether it's going to be a crystal business job. No, we're not going to get that any nearer at this stage. I'll see what happens when the test gear's been on a bit longer. It's 79015, and that's far too low. Right, well, at least we've got the basic things happening. Right, back to this. So, hours later, it's now evening, and the reference crystal, I've taken it out, it's miles off frequency, too low. This AM Colt 210, we'll see whether the crystal's any good in this. Again, this is why we buy scrap chassis in. I keep trying to buy cheap crystals, but they never seem to work right for me. You buy 10 and one's intolerant. I can find out how that's soldered in. I've also done the wiring of the dimmer switch. For some reason they'd taken the dimmer control, disconnected it. So we've now got the other cameras back on, so we can go over to the frequency counter. And I'll power this up upside down like this, and what we're going to do is apply the crystal, rather than, in case this doesn't work, because at the end of the day this is 40 years old as well. Let's put it there, we'll just touch it across. Absolutely fine. Well done, Maxon, for another part off that Colt 210. Take the power off it. Of course, I won't, once I've soldered this, I'm not going to be able to set the frequency because the crystal's going to be warm, but we'll get on with tuning the transmitter. I'd have liked to have done an on-the-air test today, but it's just not happening. It's very cold. And so am I. Good. So that's another good reason for it not to work. Right, power back on. Quick check of where we are frequency wise, 2779162. I'm going to put it on frequency for now. Obviously I've just soldered it and it's going to change. So there we are, 2779126 will do me nicely. So it was once we got it working, it was 27,79015, and we've now got it 27,79125, which is where we want it. The VCO was out of lock, and it's now 4 plus 4, which is where it should be. And we had nothing, of course. Is it the 27th today? I think it is 27 Jan 25. So transmit was, I think it was 4. Was it 4.1 watts? Let's go to the go to that meter. We can do all this now. Yes, 4.1. I just hope they haven't thrashed it for it to do that. And then the other channels without a knob. Let's see if we can. Oh, it's nice to see the dimmer working. I know it's pointless, but it's nice to see it working. 4.2 on channel 1, and on channel 40, 4. Go back to channel 20. Our current consumption is 1.167 amps, which is fine. And our low power I don't think was working, so we've got to find a switch. So low power is the third one. And low power doesn't work at all. So back to full power. Can I rear this up to show you the meter? It's reading 4, which is about what it's doing. Meter lamp works. Nothing else does it? Receive works, and we'll come to that. I'll tune the receiver. I'll tune the transmitter first, then we'll go into the receiver. We did hear it work. So let's just run through this and see if it's anywhere near. So go to full power, 30 watt range on the test set. Want to be in the centre of the peak. That was okay. That was slightly out. That was slightly out. We're now at 4.6 watts. I just hope they haven't left this in what we call service mode, because obviously that extra bit of power is going to get them a million miles extra. So we want to quickly get these to peak. That wasn't at peak. That wasn't at peak. That wasn't at peak, so no, just that's where we've got it. So we've now got it an absolute maximum. So the idea is that we turn this clockwise for 4.4 watts, and then the manual says to turn this anti-clockwise to get 3.8 watts, but we're going to do it for 4 watts because that's the legal limit. I've said a million times before, they have to get these through customs, so they always have them set low. The supplying dealer is supposed to turn them to 4 watts, but supplying dealers sell them in boxes, and it isn't always appreciated when you have that extra service of doing a pre-delivery inspection and service. I got it 20 quid cheaper. Doesn't work right, but I got it 20 quid cheaper. Right, so we're now doing full 4 watts on channel 20. So what are we doing on the other channels? Channel 40 is 4 watts and channel 1 is 4 watts. What's one I got right? 4 watts, 4 watts, 4 watts. We'll make a song up about that, and here we go for the current consumption. Now 1.104. A little bit less. For what it's worth, let's see if we've got a deviation figure. Wow, it's 2.1 on this test set. Now, if you remember, I moved a link which was linking out a resistor, which had bypassed it. It does stupid deviation. I don't know what the theory is behind that. Want the AGC one to centre position. I was going to just put the other. I've not put the other test set on, so that we'll have to give that a bit of time to warm up. So we'll forget about the transmitter for now. Apart from, see whether we can get low power, and we can see if we can set that meter. So now the meter is still reading 4, but we'll just make sure it's bang on. And remember, this only works into a dummy load. When you put it on an aerial, it might read 1, it might swing across. It's still doing the same power as when it was set. So on low power, third switch along. I've pressed the wrong switch, I haven't taken seconds. Or is it working now? Right. See whether we can adjust it. It will be coming back to that. I mean, have they unwired it to turn it into some other silly feature? No, I can't do that quickly, and we've got to do things quickly. Receive. So we'll put 2779125 on the signal generator. 2779125. Oh, there we go. That'll do nicely. Set is just shifted. That'll do. And before we start making any adjustments, let's see how well it's working. And these are capable of very, very good results. So as this has come, as it's presented, it's doing 0.23 microvolts. I've put the pesky pen down, it's there. 0.23 microvolts. Because if the detector's out, that could be a false bit of sensitivity. 0.2 for there, and for 20 is a really decent 0.47. Squelch. So let's see. Let's put the attenuator up on here. It's 100 microvolts, exactly where I want it to be. It won't be when I've turned the receiver, though, will it? No, Mr. Tango. Turn it to minimum. Put the signal generator to standby. Set threshold. And signal generator back on. 0.82. That's absolutely fine. So S9, we want 100 microvolts on the signal generator, and it is not quite S9. It is it's 58. 0.58, that's where it would be on a ham radio, but this isn't a ham radio. It's 0.58. It needs to be 100. Okay. Let's see where we are. So let's go over to the oscilloscope, put some volume on it so we get a decent sized trace, check the detector. Oh, that's a bit out. We've got a new Midland tomorrow. I said, we did the Midland 18. I said I bought the bigger one as well, Midland 28. We'll be doing that tomorrow. Reason being, although I've got a repair in, the next repair is a Rotel 240. Well, of course, it's the same chassis as this. You don't want to see the same sets day in, day out. But that's sometimes how it goes. We'll plop in that new set and see whether there's any adjustments on it or whether it's as dire as the other one. Right. Let's see whether we can tune that. I think we'll start with the IF and let's put that on. That was spot on. There's the one in the wiring somewhere down here. Not surprising that's spot on, nobody's found that. There you're absolutely spot on. Right, now we'll do the front end. So drop it to about 4 dB and let's see whether we can get an improvement. Yes, we can. That might compensate for the detector being out. We've got the extra coil, because it's the posher one. That's perfect. So only that one was out, and the detector. Right, let's get a new reading. For 12 dB, we've now got 0.21. So we've got an extra 3 inches range. For 10 dB, it's going to be the same. We're just lower than 0.2, but if I go into the other scale, we've got a bit of inaccuracy between the two scales, so we'll call it 0.2. And for 20, we've now got 0.42. So I'm glad I was able to get a little bit out of that. Now, has the squelch stayed put? Let's put the squelch to full. And so I want it to be 100 microvolts, just as it was. Let's put the attenuator up on the screen. 1, 3, 10, 30. Aha! It's too sensitive now. So I need to just knock the squelch up a fraction. And then we'll see whether we can... Yep, that's where we want it, 100 microvolts. (100 microvolts), and let's see where our sensitivity is now. Drop the signal generator off, park it at 0.3 of a microvolt, squelch on, and... (0.65). So a little bit more sensitivity on the squelch, that's great. So we now need to set the S meter. So 100 microvolts on the signal generator. Let's see what the S meter says. It's now well over. And the S meter is that one. And there we have that at 100 microvolts. I'm just going to try spraying service oil switch cleaner if I knew where the switch cleaner was on the low power thing. I think it's gone back to Mr. Chippie, which is where it belongs, so we'll be doing that behind the scenes and trying to find out why we've got no low power. Just on the face of it, we have what switch is going to the low power switch. It's the third one. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We've got a blue, a grey and a yellow wire. Let's look at our scrap chassis. And on this one, the switch has been pinched, which is always a problem, so I don't know, do I? This is what we're up against. Now, I don't take parts off sets like that. Not front panel parts. But there you go, how we buy these things like that. Right, so we can't proceed any further with that. I'm going to have to spend some time tomorrow working out the PA on this, because that's not right yet. I think we've got another wire to go on, but it's missing on the other chassis. I do have a circuit diagram of the Binatone 5-star, so I'll have to pore over that. And but we've done the set. It just needs to do the deviation. let's see whether the other test set's warmed up and whether it's going to say hello to us. It's 10 minutes for this, so we'll see whether the 10 minutes has elapsed. Wallow, wallow. It hasn't. No, that's not reading right yet. So I'll come back to this in 10 minutes. Right, another 10 minutes has elapsed. Let's see what we've got on the meter. Wallow, wallow. I've only got one, but of course I corrected that short, didn't I? And let's see what we've got. Have I got my gain up? Just check that. Yes. Wallow, wallow, 1 2 1 2. Right, we haven't got the right deviation at all. So let's see, have they changed something? It'd be a shame to get this far. So looking at our scrap chassis, we have that resistor, which Graham pointed out to me wasn't in the York 863. What's that? 2.27k, something like that. Well, it's the same value in that one. Definitely got that in the right place. I mean, we could have a fault. This is where it'd be nice to have PA working. So where are we? Just here. Because it could be this PA thing, which is not giving us audio through, couldn't it? Let's see if we can make a quick decision on this. One, two, three. It's the fourth one. So we should have yellow wire to the top. We've got the yellow wire. We should have the resistor to the centre one, and also a red wire. That red wire goes to, in our set, it's been chopped off here, but it goes to the same place, I think. And then we've got another wire, which we haven't got in at the moment, and that is another red wire. And that red wire is this red wire, which goes to the transmitted audio department. So just turn this off a moment. So it's that one we determined. 0.35. 0.35 is chopped off. Haha! go. So what we want is a piece of red wire. Have we got enough bits of red wire come out of this set? I don't think that's quite long enough. Obviously we have reels of wire, but then on the other hand we have scrap sets, so this looks a pretty long piece of red wire. So ideally we'll try and thread that through. Obviously I could cut the tie wraps and we could put new ones in. But I'm sure the customer would rather not spend 3p when he doesn't need to. Can you tell I'm from Yorkshire? You know, because it's all about not throwing money away. You don't have to. This piece of wire is out of a scrap AM set. Good. So now we can thread that down to the bottom, and you never know, might give us PA operation. Right, switch back on, see what happens. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Where's mic gain? Second 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So we've got PA operation. Good. But I don't expect we've got deviation back. Wow, we haven't. So we've got to diagnose that. We're going to end the video at this point. Just make sure my deviation meter is actually set right. Never change it. Wow, it's reading about 1 kilohertz. So either something's wrong, or see, we've had that capacitor fail before now, which applies to the transmitted audio to the varicap diode. We've had low deviation because of that failing. We don't have many capacitors failing these, but it can happen. So I'm going to leave it at that. We're not going to do a part 2 because the set's done. It's transmitting, it's receiving. We've got low deviation. I'll sort that out behind the scenes. I'll be able to screw that switch now in, so I've fixed that. So everything, apart from the deviation being a little bit low, and I'll give you a figure, it is, wow, it's 1.2. So it's a bit low. We could jiggery poke create and alter that, but I know that should be in that position. So I'll look at the component values. Something might have been altered, and there we go. So I'm going to put it on the aerial. I'll have a tune round. And once again, I'm glad that I was able to get the phase lock loop chip to find it still works. Got a really sensitive set. One nano Roger. Are we on low power, which doesn't transmit? It's the other thing to do. I'll tell you what the faults were on the air test. PA high low power, that's high, that's it. 19 Roger. So it's Sunday evening, it's about 8 o'clock. Where is everybody? Tell you what, you'd think that there was something wrong with it, it's that quiet, but we know that it's really, really sensitive. Let's just put our handheld on. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2 3 4 5. Tone switch works as well. Testing 1 2, low 1 2. And listen to the low audio on this. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2 3 4 5. 5 4 3 2 1. So although it sounds absolutely fine, it isn't. So there we go. Where is everybody? Oh well, there we are. So just about done. Turned from being a dead set into nearly working. Thank you for watching.